guys, it's Rubik here, coming to you with a really special interview. It's a special episode of GamersGalaxie Pod where we've got two new hosts and a brand new guest to interview and to discuss their exciting game, RavenQuest. So I'd like to introduce you to King Tom and Kitty. How you going, King Tom?
I'm doing good, mate. Thanks. Nice to be around you again.
Yeah, and how are you, Kitty?
Good. Very excited to be here. Looking forward to get all the insiders info from Matt.
You've got an interesting story, Kitty. What do you want to tell us a bit about what you've created and how you're involved in Web3?
Honestly, it all started with Pixels. We have a community that's growing really fast. I met Tom while playing RavenQuest. We bonded really fast. And then we merged. Our community's almost at 2,000 people now. And it's definitely going to grow more very soon because we're jumping into exploring a lot of games. And yeah, we're looking forward to cooking new things. Can't really say much now because it's not about us, but Matt. So let's get on to that.
Yeah. And how are you, Matt? Thank you. Matt's the CMO of RavenQuest, the huge game, huge success in Web3. How are you going, mate?
Hey, I'm doing well. Yeah, thank you for the intro. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very, very excited to dive into this with a couple fellow friends I've met online here, and now excited to chat further.
Cool, mate. So I'll get straight into it. What do you want to introduce yourself and how you came to be involved with RavenQuest?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Matt Welsh. I am the CMO of RavenQuest. It kind of goes back a few years. I want to say about 2021. I don't know if you want me to get into my work experience, but at the time, I did own a digital marketing agency, so all Web2, just like e-com related, running Meta ads, Google ads, copywriting, email marketing, funnel building, all the basics. And as everyone and their dog was doing back then, I ran the agency for about 4 or 5 years, and then I kind of wanted to get a taste of like a big agency and see what it was all about. So I was working at a larger marketing firm based out of Canada, where I am, and that is when I got a message from Drew, our business development. Partnership director. He is friends with the CEO, Nick, also known as Niter, and he basically said they were looking for some marketing support, and I came in as an advisor back in 2020 or 2021. So I was helping the company with some marketing advisory, just helping the internal team, and then about last year, I want to say early last year, things were really starting to ramp up as we were approaching the starting to plan for a full release and the early access phases and land sales and everything in between. So early last year, decided to jump in more full time, and then about middle of last year, I was like full time. No other jobs, just working at RavenQuest, really enjoying it. And then, early this year became the CMO and marketing lead, and now running the team here.
Awesome. And was that your first foray into Web3, or you'd been involved in it before, or how's your experience with that side of things?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so back in when 2020-ish, the last bull, I guess, I was in college, or no, not, I guess just finishing college, and I was definitely just like day trading meme coins and a bunch of random stuff. I enjoyed like investing in crypto. It always had an interest to me, or it always was an interest to me. So I was definitely involved on that front, not as much on like Web3 gaming until I started the advisory, then diving into games back then, and then now it's just everything Web3 gaming. That's like all I focus on, all I research, and yeah.
Awesome.
So basically, Matt, you're a degenerate like the rest of us. Is what we can
I
surmise
started
from
as a degen, absolutely. Yeah, I started as a degen. Everyone's trying to get that 100x, 1000x. I was one of those guys for sure. I also always like had an interest in NFTs. I wish I bought more back then. There was some that I definitely could have got into early, but yeah, I was always just interested in, like you said, definitely a degen.
So now you've come and you're heading up the RavenQuest marketing campaign, really, aren't you? You're there on the ground floor. You're there interacting with people and really driving the thing forward. So I guess what would be good to point out is to those people who don't already know, and I don't think there are very many of them, how would you describe RavenQuest? How would you describe the game?
Yeah, 100%. So I'd say like RavenQuest is it's like a very polished, like modern feeling pixel art MMORPG. It does offer like thousands of hours of addictive game loops, which is why people keep coming back. The game offers like an immersive open world experience. Players can come together. They can do what they like. It's filled with like endless customization if they want to progress through trading, battling, just like building their character and going into different professions. They're more than welcome. If you want me to list off some key features, I can kind of go through that as well.
Now, I think the main thing that really separates RavenQuest, as you alluded to, is kind of a sandbox, isn't it? You can have so many different paths through the game. Like I remember logging in and just spending days just trading on the marketplace because as we previously mentioned, we're all degenerates. But you can do that. You can PvP. So what in your view are the key features of RavenQuest?
Yeah, 100%. I think like you kind of hit the nail on the head. It does offer just like a full like video game, like something you want to immerse yourself in. You want to get lost in the world. You want to develop your character, and you can do that through like tons and tons of ways, as you should be able to in a video game. It was never like an early release game where we just wanted to kind of jump in on the trends and like just be like, oh, we're a Web3 game now. We wanted to do it right and make sure we still brought like a video game, like a fun first video game to Web3. So the game's been in development for a very long time, being built off the success of our Web2 MMORPG, Raven Dawn. So it was it was good for us, and like some key features, like you said, PvE, PvP, Guild Wars is a ton of fun for guilds and larger groups to play together. It's completely free to play, which people obviously like. Dynamic world, which is like always changing with lore, puzzles, player decisions. And yeah, like tons of customization with a multi-archetype system. We can probably get into that later on, and all the different customization options, including equipment, reputation paths, ability to like adjust your archetype using Raven cards, professions you pick, stuff like that. So the list kind of goes on, and it was just fun for people to like really dive into a game that they enjoy playing, with the earning potential or asset ownership kind of being like a cherry on top, but never being the priority.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I know we're all very interested, and Kitty's very, very excited to be here today because I know she's got a couple of questions for you as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. No, I'm not.
Awesome. So this is something everyone's been talking about, and definitely something that's been brought up in our community a lot. So can you tell us what is the long-term vision of the game?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, like this is again on like the marketing side versus like the game side's a bit different, and I'm not as involved on the dev side. We do have like a full-time team of like over 65 full-time staff, but as like the team vision goes, as it should be for every MMORPG, it is like long-term success, a sustainable economy, and like always pushing new content. So whether that be map expansions, new archetypes, lore building in game, like different end game features, stuff like that. We do plan to be around like 5 years is like the bare minimum, and we continue to build and build and build on that for many years to come afterwards. But yeah, we have our eyes set on like no timeline shorter than 5 years. Like we want to push this game and continue to develop it and make it like a perfect game and fun game for everyone.
That sounds amazing.
What you've been cooking up apparently some super secret marketing plans for launch. Is there any alpha for our audience today?
Yeah, 100%. We can kind of drop some alpha. So, I mean, for right now, we just kind of announced our Halloween event, which was actually just kind of shared the dates in an AMA earlier today with our CEO. But we do have a Halloween event going to open up the game for players for another 4 days. And those dates being, I got to pull the doc. It's the 25th to the 28th. So we'll be opening like an exclusive event, all Halloween themed. There'll be some items in game you can collect, and then there will be some exclusive NFTs that will only be available for this time only. So if you can get them, they will be in your wallet, and you can keep them forever, and they will be just here for now. Other things leading up to global release that I can kind of spill. We do have Our land sale, of course, we still hold 1,500 lands or just over that internally that we do plan to sell approaching global release as we onboard more people. We always felt like it wasn't really fair to sell them all super early, like the stages we're at right now. We want to be able to bring in people from around the world, create more awareness, more hype for the game, and let everyone have an opportunity to get in and own a piece of RavenQuest. And then for global release, I can't say too much, and honestly, like we don't have a set date at the moment. It's obviously big based on the dev team. We have to run our early access phase 3, which will test a few new things, including the progression system. Just like seeing how people progress through the game, and then we need to test a few other features in game, as well as a potential expansion coming to the map already, as well as a couple other archetypes. So we will be testing a few things first. Once we have everything dialed in and 100% perfect, we do look to do our full release by end of this year. So within the next 2.5 months here, we do look, or 2 months, we do look to do our global release and then a TGE as well.
Amazing. Okay, so from a marketing perspective, what has RavenQuest done better than other Web3 games, you think?
Done better might be, I don't want to say it's better necessarily. I think a lot of games do a good job at their own strategies. I think something that was quickly picked up by the community and really liked, like just across the board by a lot of players and just viewers, was our Twitch activation. For our early access, I think we were kind of one of the first Web3 games to really push Twitch. It not really being like a Web3 native platform, but it's, again, we do build with like game first approach in mind, and then like the Web3 is always the cherry on top. So we were like, well, where are gamers? They're on Twitch, and that's where they like to take in content. So we did activate a ton of Twitch streamers for early access. All of that was done very organically. And then we had Twitch drops available as well, which is a little bit tough to get to become a Twitch partner and offer drops on your streams. But we were able to do that and then drop in-game items to viewers, and it kind of built that narrative of like watch to earn. So that was really exciting, and I think that's something that we sort of pioneered a little bit. Other than that, like again, the organic approach I think was really unique. I think a lot of Web3 games have raised tons and tons of VC money, and they are able to kind of come in this space and just like pay their way to the top, where we wanted to take a different approach and like really focus on community building and just like have a good game that people wanted to talk about. And I think we succeeded well in that. During our early access, RavenQuest was all over the timeline, and that was with like next to no marketing spend, all organic. So I think that was done really well. And then another thing would be community building. We took that very, very seriously. Our CEO, myself, the whole team really is very in the trenches with the community, answering questions, just engaging. The whole time leading up to the first early access phase, I was personally hosting like poker events every Saturday. We would basically do one a week. We'd give away some monks and some other goodies that people could use in game. It was obviously free to play those, and just like a community building event, and we'd get like hundreds of people involved in those. And now I still get asked every week, like, when's next poker, when, and I do love to see that stuff. So people enjoy like hanging out, and we again take that very seriously, and we always want to be in the trenches with the community. I can kind of build on like a couple more things if you want. I don't know how much time we want here, but I can build on maybe two more ideas.
It's your world, so you know that's
okay.
Go for it, mate.
Let's do it. Another thing that I think was done really well was our referral system. We did make the early access like 100% free to play, but there was ways you could unlock some added features, like Patron, for example, being like the premium version of RavenQuest. You could get that for free just by referring two friends. So I think that went really well, and people were sort of encouraged to share their link, bring in their friends like they already wanted to play with anyways. And I think that sort of got some kind of went a bit viral on socials, people sharing their links everywhere, links in their bios, links being shared on big Twitter threads, stuff like that. And I think that went really, really well, and just like incentivized people to bring in their friends and kind of build the community. And that also helped build like that Web 2 audience. A lot of people who didn't have many Web 3 friends that are gamers, they were reaching out to their Web 2 friends and being like, hey, like join my referral, let's play this game together. And then those people would end up playing and just enjoying the game, never connecting a wallet for the play to airdrop. They just played because they enjoyed the game. And I think a big part of that was due to the referral system there. And then one more being the monks that we did. It was kind of like a free community collection of 1,000 monks. They were never supposed to like really pop off the way they were. They're just like the NPCs in game. You can talk to them and get your goodies from them in game, but they were just NPCs. There wasn't supposed to be much more to it. And then we decided to kind of build on this like monk collection that was already going viral. People being like, "Oh, I love the monks; they're so cute. Like, what are these little squirrel things?
They
What are these little
are.
rat things?"
They're
Yeah, they are
adorable.
super cute, 100%. So we kind of took advantage of that, and then did a collection of 1,000 monks that provides some like had immediate utility, providing like in-game renown boosters, which basically give you like more earning potential in game. Give you like whitelist guaranteed whitelist spots for our land sale, and a few other things. And I think like that, like we've only given out, I want to say like 650 out of the 1,000. Once the full collection has been claimed, we will mint them and they will become NFTs. But they had a really good system, I think, to them, allowing people to level them up through engage quests. So that also helped on our marketing side, having people like want to repost tweets and share tweets and share their own content. So that ended up going really well on that front. And I think it was like a really, really well put together strategy that people enjoyed, and it just like again was like super organic, didn't cost anything to the community, didn't cost much to us other than like we did create every one of the 1,000 monks like completely custom, so they are all are unique, and they are, I think, is very beautiful.
Can I
Yeah,
ninja?
absolutely.
Sorry, kid,
Yeah,
to cut you off.
sorry, go ahead.
I want to ninja a question in here, and pun intended. Off the grid is currently at the time of this recording going through the roof and having huge success for Web3. They say it's the first breakthrough game. The whole community's raving about it. I've heard people say that there's only 2 games in Web3 that are and I've heard RavenQuest put in beside Off the Grid in terms of successful and the chance of being successful when it releases. Have you got anything to add about Off the Grid and how they've marketed, and is there anything that you've learned from them? I'm sorry about putting this question in there. They're out of the without warning you.
No, it's a great question. Yeah, 100%. I've picked up things from them. Like they again, like they went into it with very deep pockets. The amount of money behind that project is through the roof. Whereas we are like a very we did do raises back like early in the early stages, 2021, 2022. But now we are like a fully self-funded studio. So we do pay for everything internally. Our Web 2 game luckily had a lot of, not luckily, but it did get a lot of success, and that is able to fund our development on the RavenQuest side. So like the big things being Off the Grid, like they brought in Ninja, they brought in like my favorite gamer of all time, being Scumpy. They brought him into stream, Tim the Tapman, like these huge Web 2 just like traditional names. They brought them in to play the game, which is it's crazy, and like that was a huge part of the success. I'm like people get really amped up on that, being like, oh, like these guys are playing, and it's like obviously it's a paid activation, and like the ROI on these like really major creators that are charging tens of thousands of dollars an hour, the ROI tends to not be very positive, but I think they have like a deeper approach to it, for like a reason why they are doing all of this stuff. So I think it was good for them at what they did, and they were the first one to really do that, like onboard a lot of these like massive Web 2 streamers, and I think that was a huge win for them. Like, I think if another game did it now, it's kind of like, oh cool, like Ninja's playing, but it's like, okay, like Off the Grid was first, and they'll always be able to hold that to their chest. So I think it's that was really well done, just like taking the shot, taking the leap of faith and just getting it done. So I do respect that 1,000%. And then I do plan to do like a nice like marketing analysis on what they've done. I haven't been able to do a full deep dive yet, but yeah, they've found some success obviously with those crazy massive activations.
I think it really worked though because of the type of game that Off the Grid is. Like if you look at what the big streamers normally stream, they tend to be battle royale type games, you know, competitive PvP type games. So I think it kind of works for that genre, but I don't think it's a blueprint that everyone could follow. What do you think about kind of more niche streamers that generally stream MMORPGs? Do you think that's something that you might look at, or?
Oh, 1,000%. Like it's been on our radar for a long time, and we have like we take data analysis like super seriously. We have a list of like over 1,000 Web2 streamers that like we onboarded for our Web2 game Raven Dawn, and we already have all the data and all the results, their prices, what the ROI was. So we already have all this data, and now it's just about going back through it and then reactivating those streamers that were able to provide like a positive ROI and had like a positive impact on the game. So yeah, we're in a very good spot to definitely like, look to the Web2 content creators, and it's always been a vision of ours. It's just not a time for early access. Like yeah, they're early access as well, but for battle royale, it's a lot different than MMORPG that you have to grind, and then you get to global release and your character resets and you have to do it all over again. So we never saw the success that RavenQuest had in early access, hitting like over 74,000 unique players, and that's with like a very heavy and intricate like anti-bot system. But we do plan to do that, but it will be more for that global release and like letting everyone start from level 1, getting those content creators in at level 1 as long beside everyone else, and having them start like streaming that and sharing it with the Web2 audience and bringing over those Web2 like MMORPG fanatics. Yeah.
Yes, I was just saying that it's true. RavenQuest really has done absolutely everything and nailed it. You're building an incredible community, and honestly, there's really no gameplay quite like RavenQuest. To me personally, at least. I think it's fun and strategic, and also like the thrill of carrying trade packs gives you the right amount of anxiety. I don't know, like the fish, the enemies. Yikes! It's just also captivating. It's literally the internet drug. Just super bullish.
100%.
Okay, next question for you.
I appreciate that, and like the trade packs is a cool feature. So I'm glad you like it, and you like the adrenaline and dopamine that comes from it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, it's a drug we can't find in other games. Okay, so you're very active in the community. Do you enjoy being involved in the day-to-day hands-on stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's like first off, it's fun. I genuinely do enjoy it. I enjoy chatting to people, and like I'd say like I always do say like, I've made like, my girlfriend always makes fun of me for this actually. But like I tell her like, I have like online friends like because of this community. There's people I chat to frequently, and like now we're just like I consider ourselves friends. It's really cool to be a part of and to see it kind of progress that way. So I genuinely do really enjoy it, and I again I was hosting those poker tournaments every weekend, not because it was like, oh, this is like a part of my job to like do this. It was never like told to be like, hey, like you need to start doing this. It was just like, hey, how about we start doing these community games? And that just kind of became a trend, but it was like all organic and just like something I wanted to do. On the flip side, like it's a part of it, like it's good for the job. Like as a marketer, you need to understand like what the community likes in the game, kind of like what they're talking about, and like it gives me an ability to build narratives on that. It's like if people are really liking this like organic approach, then it's kind of like building on that narrative of like we have done this from like not with any crazy paid activations. We have kept everything very tight to our chest and like build on that narrative. It's also good to see pain points, seeing things that people complain about, things that are in the game that they don't like, and being able to go back to the team. We have like a huge master list of all the feedback we've received, and we're always like very like, we actually like genuinely love that too. Just being able to see what people want the future of RavenQuest to look like, and have the ability to like make those changes, and it's all like community driven. Like if you go to our mission and vision on our white paper, the first thing that shows up is a player centered design. Like we always want to take the community feedback and use that to make the game better and more enjoyable for everyone. And then the flip side of that being like the negatives, it does get tough, especially when like I have 8 meetings a day and like have to get my own work done, and then be able to manage the team and make sure like that everyone's like kind of on the same page, getting all their stuff done, and then also having a ton of community members like DMing me and pinging me in chats and stuff like that. It does get sometimes overwhelming and difficult to handle it all. But at the base of the question, it's like something I do enjoy and I will always make time to do.
Incredible. Love that. When I tweeted about bringing my Pixels Guild to RavenQuest, you guys posted it on the engagement bot. And it blew up. That kind of engagement is incredible. And like you kept saying, organic growth, you know? And
Yeah.
it's amazing for the game. It is so welcoming and just such great vibes.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm glad glad it worked out. Like again, we have that community that just like wants to see the success of the game. So something as simple as getting engage points, which can then get you a monk or get you some other goodies in game. People like don't just do it for the rewards; they're doing it because they want to see the game succeed. So yeah, like we will do that for creators' posts and content that we like, and it helps that stuff kind of pick up some more viral traction and get more impressions. So I'm glad it felt welcoming and everything.
Every time
Awesome.
you sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Tom, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know every time you mention monk, Matt, that Kitty's bristling a little bit because I know she desperately wants one and hasn't been managed to get one yet. So
You don't have a monk.
I don't. I'm so new.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yes.
well we can chat about that afterwards.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so
Yes.
sweet.
Excited. Oh my god.
Thanks,
Yes,
man. That's
that is
very
very
kind.
sweet.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
People who help like drive the game forward and bring in tons of players and like you have with your guild. We definitely want to make sure those people are taken care of as well as like the active community members who are constantly
Thank
in the
you.
chat, yeah, replying to comments and questions. Like those are the people that we want to get the monks to. So
Amazing. Thank you.
You just made all
Of
our
course.
listeners very jealous, but that's a bit of a.
I know.
There's a positive, but there's a negative to this as well. Giving away a
Exactly.
monk online, everyone's just going to stop listening right now. You know, that's not fair.
Cut it.
Everyone listening
Cut
gets
it
one as well.
out.
Just
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So taking a bit of a left-hand turn here to a different kind of questioning. Why Mutable? How did that come about, and what's been like working with them, to your knowledge?
Yeah, 100%. No, that's a good question. Yeah, I was like quite involved in those discussions. It's definitely like less of my area of expertise. So like in the initial talks, like I was like pretty open-minded. I knew like the team would make the right call there. But like my input on it and like something that we as a team just like really enjoyed from Immutable was what they were able to like offer. Like every chain was like, here's a massive paycheck, like take this and run. And we like, again, being like a self-funded game, having a Web2 game that funds RavenQuest, the paycheck wasn't what like really sparked our attention. But a lot of other games, that's what they look for. But for Immutable, it was like, here is some money you can use for growth and development and on the marketing side, which I liked. They do offer some like really good marketing incentives, but it was more on like the personal support. That was like the main benefit. Sorry, one sec. They basically like offered their team to just like be in the trenches with us. When we approached our land sale, it was like the Mutable Team who we gave them moderator roles in our Discord, and they worked all night answering questions, any concerns for people who couldn't bridge funds. It was like the Mutable Team that we had, like we don't pay, we have not hired them. Like it was just their team doing that for like the good of the growth of the game. Every contact we need, if we want to reach out to a guild or another game to collab with, they're always putting us in group chats. They're always there. We're in Telegram chats that are getting messages every single day. I personally chat with like their marketing leads all the time, and they help me a ton on that front. But yeah, that was also like that was our biggest thing was we know how to make games, we know how to market games, but like Web3 isn't our strongest suit, as we do come from like just traditional gaming background. And then they were able to provide that support to like really like get us into the Web3 space and like help us find a presence here. So yeah, like the support was a big thing, and like even at Token 2049 in Singapore, like I hung out with the Immutable team personally. They took us out for dinner. We hung out with them throughout the evenings. They went to events together, and even at events, they're like bringing people up to me, like, "Hey man, like you got to meet this guy. It's a founder of this guild." And I'm like, "Holy, like okay, like pleasure to meet you. Like let's chat." And it's like those connections were made like in real life because of the Mutable team. Like they're working 24/7 to make sure we succeed, and like they're all in on the game and the potential and the future. So they're like going bending over backwards to make sure we have everything we can possibly ask for.
It seems really strange to me that you say that. Not that I wouldn't expect that level of service, but a lot of the chains that we have in Web3 are very vocal. The founders are very vocal. They interact. Immutable generally is quite quiet. It kind of lets the technology do the talking. So it's really good to hear that in the background they are offering that massive level of support. That's great.
100%.
I was kind of wondering. Obviously, we spoke to Kitty earlier, and the attraction that RavenQuest has when it comes to pulling gamers from other quite long-running successful IPs. Why do you think it's so attractive to those gamers on those other chains, whereas other projects haven't seemed to have that pull? What is it specifically you think that causes that effect?
Sorry, like the question, like being like bringing in gamers from other games and other communities.
Other chains, particularly, I think,
yeah.
like from Ronin and such.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good question, and yeah, it's funny you say that. I like Ronin obviously had some sort of activation where people would make their Twitter names like x.roan, and it was funny seeing the amount of comments on RavenQuest tweets being like, "This is the best MMORPG in the space. Like, we love this game. We love this game." A bunch of like Ronin content creators like putting us in polls that we were winning for best Web3 game and best MMORPG in the space. And it's funny that you bring that up. I think it's the reasoning being like at the core, like the people that are in the space. Obviously, there's a lot of farmers and people who just want to extract, but at the core, like a big majority of the community, like is still gamers. Like they are looking for fun games that they can play, enjoy, and then also earn. And I think that aligns with our vision really well. And I think these people that came from other chains just like appreciated what we built, and they're like, I don't care whether it's on a different chain or not. I just want to play because like they can tell the amount of work and passion that went into RavenQuest, and they were willing to jump over and try an immutable game.
It's it's kind of funny you say that. The vocal minority must be the chain maxis, because I've seen the dot runners say if it's not on Ronin, I'm not playing it about 1 billion times on X. So that's a superpower that RavenQuest has been able to pull a lot of Ronin players, Ronin maxis, or maybe on the surface it feels like they are, and maybe it's not true. Maybe they're just all looking for a really great game, which I think RavenQuest is the first game, because it was out before Off the Grid. I think it's the first really fun game that people wanted to play just because of how fun it is, and the Web3 side of stuff is just a nice to have. So
Yeah, I agree with you. Like it's funny, like go back through the tweets during early access and just look at the comments of all the dot runners. Like it's funny to see that, and it made me happy every time I saw one of those comments, and I frequently go through them just to see what people are saying again and kind of get that community feedback. But it was really crazy to see, and yeah, like you said, it's just people looking for a great game and they want to play something they enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of, Pixels is the top Ronin game, and a lot of people from other guilds as well keep saying we're all going to move to RavenQuest. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's like one of our biggest content creators is Lou, who is another Pixels OG, like top 3 player at points, and I'm not sure where he sits right now, but yeah, he came over, and his very first stream, I had it on my other monitor while working and just kind of like hearing what he had to say, and every like couple minutes was like, holy crap, this game is phenomenal. And it's like that, it was like really, really good to see. And I think that like generated some hype in the Ronin community. And I also think like Ronin isn't like, they're not willing to, or they're not like hiding other games. Like they give credit where credit's due. And yeah, I think like a big reason why their community was, like, it still is unreal, is because they have a lot of phenomenal games. So they have a lot of good gamers there, and they didn't need to go to other chains because they couldn't find any other games they wanted to play on other chains. But once that opportunity was there to play an immutable game that they enjoyed, it was like, yeah, like we'd be stupid not to play and like provide support for them. So yeah.
It was the monks, wasn't it? They wanted a monk.
Everyone wants a monk, exactly. At the
So-
core of
For
everything.
sure.
Everyone just wants a monk.
Will we see more of them in the future, monks, or is that it? Is that the limit? What we've got so far? 1,000?
Yeah, no, we always yeah, stay true to our word, and we don't want to like depreciate the value of them. It'll be 1,000 will be the max. Never more will be added. We will still build on the IP. There's a lot of like little sneak peeks or some alpha I can drop later on, and like the future on that front as well. But they're yeah, they will be around. We will be building on them and making sure we give the people what they want.
What was the alpha? Was that during our pod or later on after the pod?
No, I can drop it now. It's kind of just
Go.
like a few things for the future. Um, yeah, like we do plan to. Obviously, right now it's like all game dev orientated. We want to make sure the game is done right. But once we have everything like done, the game is launched, and we kind of get a little bit more free time. We 100% look to like build some more like behind the scenes lore. Maybe like a comic book would be really, really cool. Like plushies, we want to do some like monk plushies, maybe some merch involving the monks, stuff like that, and just kind of like build on the IP there.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, a fun question for you. What is your favorite archetype and why?
Yeah, 100%. So, again, like I always say this, it's like the biggest negative of working for a video game studio is you can never really play the game. It's like when the game is hot, it's like working 24/7, so it's tough to find time. But in the last 2 days of early access, I was able to commit the weekend to really grinding a bit, and I built in Arcanist, which I had a lot of fun with. Kind of like a mage build. I want to say it's wizardry, witchcraft, and one more archetype, which I'm blanking on. What is it? I can look it up quick. And spiritual. And then yeah, I had a lot of fun with that class. It was it's just like fun to play. The abilities I think are like the animations are really pretty. And it just excites me. So I was using a lot of the the frost shards. I like that ability. The cold blast to kind of like freeze people. The eternal worms in the witchcraft archetype I think is cool. Kind of like just the animation again, just like locks the enemy in place and has these like little like worms coming out of the ground and like
Yeah.
holding him down. I think that stuff's really cool. So I had a lot of fun with that. I've obviously played Raven Dawn as well, and I built more of like a archer, still like range build, but archer with like a little bit of shadow as well, kind of like an assassin archer, and I had a lot of fun with that as well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love the wizardry with the first combo that you mentioned because of the long range combat for sure.
Yeah, it's good for us kind of noobs. Like for myself, I consider myself not the
Me as well.
best, and
I
it's
just started.
it makes it a little easier with that
Yeah.
range. So
Yeah.
the great thing is as well. Sorry.
I'm a hired healer in all MMOs. I've always played the healer support characters.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
100%.
hire me. You know.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fun to play that too. It's fun when you can play with your friends and play in a guild and stuff like that with a healer.
But the unique thing about RavenQuest is that you can kind of play all the roles, can't you? Like, you know, you can mix and match and change your archetypes at will. So I think I started out as a mage, got tired of not being able to do some melee, changed then to a melee, and then when we got to the PvE content, we needed a healer and support. So then I changed again. So that flexibility, I think, is really appealing. How it doesn't lock you into a path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, then that kind of goes back into like the player customization. It's just like it is free in game to adjust your archetypes until level 20. So you can really like just try a little bit of everything, see what you like, and you can always mix and match up to 3 at a time. And like I think in total it gives you 52 different potential builds, and that's without the new. We have 2 more archetypes coming very very
Oh,
soon,
wow.
and that's without those 2. So it's like already currently 52 builds you can try. They all have their own skill trees, and then each skill you can also put it Raven cards into each one, 2 cards per. Each ability has 2 cards that you can get and put in. So like the customization there just goes like super super deep, but it's yeah, it's fun. And then even after level 20, again, it costs a little bit, but you can still adjust your archetype as you like.
So we talked a little earlier, didn't we, about some of the events coming up? But do you want to talk a little bit more about the part 3 of the P2A, and maybe even we're all very excited for the land sale. We can never get enough land. Any insights or any information you can give away for us leading up to those events?
Yeah, for phase 3, like we do want to get the mobile game involved and like let people try it a bit, but I like, again, we want to make sure we kind of follow like the timeline of getting to global release in December. So for phase 3, like I honestly don't have too much alpha to drop. We don't have a date yet announced. There will be more ways to like another leaderboard, so you can still earn quests in phase 3, which is exciting for the community. And then really importantly for like gamers themselves, like just people who don't really care about the token. It's we will have a few different like cosmetics that you can unlock, and it will just be exclusively for phase 3. So if you do get those, they can be minted and become NFTs, and that's something you'll own yourself, and like they will only be dropped for during the phase 3 early access, and then never provided again. So that's exciting for people too. Again, just the gamers who don't care about NFTs or token. It's just like a very exclusive in-game cosmetic that they can use for forever.
Awesome.
Sounds
I actually have
amazing.
another question about the gameplay. I'm going to give away my age here, but I was a massive EverQuest player, and yeah, that was purely. I was on the PVE server there, and it was just like team of 72 people, and you could do more than that. Sometimes we had 100 people raiding, taking down big bosses. There's nothing in gaming like it, that feeling. And I know that Raven. I haven't had the chance to get to the end game. I now am a father, and getting time to play MMOs is a bit hard for me. I played it, but not to the point where I can get to the end game PVE. How big a part of RavenQuest is the end game PVE, and will it be content coming up for it? Like usually their PVE raid bosses are the end game content. Is that what is the angle RavenQuest is going for?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like right now that's like kind of, again, we had in the early access phase 1 and 2 progression like boosted pretty aggressively just so we could like see what it looked like for people in endgame. So like people won't be leveling up that fast, but there were some people who were able to grind their way up there, and like that was one of the concerns, being like what does endgame look like in RavenQuest? Like how can they entertain people for years to come? And that's like one of our biggest things. So that's being worked on as we speak. More dungeons, more ways to like compete or complete PVE quests with your guilds, with your party, and just kind of go enjoy those things. So yeah, that's being worked on like currently. More end game content, and that is like a big priority for us. So we will make sure there is lots of options there. And like I said earlier, it's like it doesn't stop anytime soon. We will continue to push expansions. We'll continue to push like more map expansions, give more areas for players to just like really enjoy the game and experience something new, and that'll be worked on continuously for many years to come.
There's an expansion in EverQuest called Planes of Power. Study it. It
Okay.
was the best. Like it was a progression system where you needed to get flags or keys to get into new zones, and there was problems with it because it created bottlenecks, and big guilds used to find the monster that was the blocker for the follow the lower level guilds and block them. But the satisfaction you got from progressing in that game, I've never felt anything like that again. Like when you've been trying for 18 months to attack a monster that got you access to this next level of tier of raids, and you finally got attempted it and then finally conquered it. There's sometimes I stayed up all night because I was just buzzing from energy. So I hope there's something like that in RavenQuest in the future, that where you can just get that teamwork kind of satisfaction from progressing. That's my advice to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that, and like that's funny. I wish you guys had Niter here on the call for this part. He's like the diehard MMO RPG player. He's put in countless hours into many, and that's why he wanted to build an MMORPG. Is just like that's his passion, that's his skill set. And I'm sure this is definitely on his radar, and he would be able to talk to you for ages on this. I guarantee he's played EverQuest, and he would definitely be able to let you know what's coming there. As for myself on the marketing side, I can't, but yeah, I can promise you stuff like that is on the radar, and the team is working on it.
All right. Did you have we've got another section now where we just ask a couple of little quick questions, one word answers, maybe one sentence if you want to give context to your answer. But it's like a 60 seconds kind of thing, just for a bit of fun.
Do it. Absolutely.
Where is it? Oops. Where is it? Jump to.
Okay, I'm gonna mention something quickly.
Yep.
While Wubik is looking for the questions. To several of the Pixel landowners and I are really looking forward to land sales starting again. We discovered Archie way too late and we missed out. So can you please bring it back?
Yeah, absolutely. So like that's how we feel about a lot of new players. Is it's like we kind of just like really created a lot of hype out of nowhere, and people weren't ready for the land sale. But that is why we only in the last land sale only sold. I think we did a total of 745 lands sold, and that was so we could keep a bunch internally. So we still have over 1,500, and like that is purely for this reason, where we do want people who are getting in over the next couple of months here as we really broaden our range, and now we have global servers, so we'll be marketing more in like Southeast Asia and around the world. So we want to have these lands available for new people. So yeah, we will make sure to hold a few and make sure everyone has a chance to get their land.
All right, amazing.
Yeah, and then we can do this question, and I can finish off with maybe some future marketing plan / alpha to drop at the end again.
Cool.
Perfect.
We'll come back to that after I've found the questions. I'm noobed myself. Ready?
Let's do it.
Most interesting Web3 person you've met?
64 World.
Do you prefer to play sports or video games?
Oh, that's so tough. That's like my two favorites. I'd say, probably video games more time.
What's your favorite game of all time?
I played competitive Black Ops 3, so I was very sweaty and played many hours in that.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yes, sir.
Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, or PC?
PC.
Do you like books or movies?
I like books.
Which is your favorite book of all time?
$100 Million Leads.
PvP or PvE?
PV for an MMORPG, PvE I enjoy a lot.
Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ferrari.
One word that describes you?
Unique.
One word to describe Elon Musk?
Smart.
That's it. You passed it.
Rich.
Easy.
I love WT and I do that question of the one word describing Elon Musk, and it just brings out the weirdest answers in people. And it wasn't weird, but it was different. No one said smart before. It's probably true.
Very true.
No, I'd consider him a genius for sure. He's miles above many people. So
yeah.
He's really smart at bringing in smart people. Like that's what he's super good at. He can always find people that are smarter than him in certain industries or certain categories, and I guess he's just like really good at like bringing those people internally and having them work for what he's building.
Yeah, and create the environment that enables them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Did you have some any more questions, Tom or Kitty?
No, great. Just thanks, Matt. We really enjoyed, and yeah, hopefully we'll do this again in a couple of years when you're the most successful Web3 game of all time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate.
Did you have something else to add? Did you say?
I just had a couple like things. I wrote down a couple of points for maybe some things come in the future. Kind of on the marketing side, being like a Web 2 kind of like we already talked about Web 2 MMORPG player kind of marketing funnel. something for like a streamer of the week, cross game / like project integration and collab, some like more lore building, like I talked about, kind of those comics and like story building, physical card packs for the Raven cards, Raven packs, and then IP building on those monks, maybe some stuffies and some other goodies like that. So just a few things to come in the near future here.
Cool, awesome.
If you do physical cards, so I just don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself. That like when Gods Unchained was out and all these fantastic CCGs and TCGs, I was begging for physical cards. I'm gonna have the whole 192 card set, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we do plan to do that. We actually got cards made in the past, so we do have some, but they're just like, yeah, cool to keep as a keepsake. But we have looked at the idea of potentially having like a QR code on it, or like a little code on it, and then you can use it in game, and then you basically get that card in game. So yeah, something like that to come for sure.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Very exciting.
This has been an alpha field. Thank you very much for your time, Welsh. Wish you all the best with the upcoming, next couple of months and release of the game. We're all super excited. We all know that it's the game that's going to save the Mutable. We'll not save it, but kickstart Immutable. So as an Immutable podcast, we focus on Immutable content. So it's exciting for us from the GamersGalaxie side of things to see you on the chain and to see its success so far, and look forward to it growing and much bigger in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate the three of you. Like, again, it's a pleasure to be here, and I really do enjoy this stuff. So I'd be very excited to do it again. So keep me in mind, and yeah, we will make sure we keep building like you said, the best Web3 game in the space, and then past that and go into one of the biggest MMORPGs. So big things to come. And again, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this with me.
Thanks, mate. I will say I actually DM'd Robbie on Twitter and said, "You give those boys everything they ask for." And he did heart react. He didn't grace me with the response, but he did heart react. So
we just had a call with Robbie last week or the one before, and yeah, we had a very good conversation. And I can tell you, he is quite bullish. So yeah, he's doing whatever he can to make sure we see the success that we want to see. So they got our back.
Perfect.
Did you want to say
amazing?
Something?
Thank you. No, I was just saying it's been wonderful, and yeah, I mean, looking forward to more. And please do bring back RavenQuest ASAP.
Yeah,
what is life without it, really?
Exactly. You can jump in for the Halloween event, 24 to 28, or
yes,
25
absolutely.
Yeah, you can play, enjoy it. It's going to be the current characters you have right now, you had in Phase 2, and then after that, they will be wiped for Phase 3. So enjoy the character for a bit longer, and then we'll see you after that in Phase 3.
For sure.
Amazing.
Very excited.
If you're still here listening, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye now.